Alright guys, welcome back to our City Skylines region of Coniferia. Today's theme is gonna be residential, which I think is kinda vague. I'll get into a few more details in just a moment. First up, I'd like to thank you guys a ton for all the recent support, especially on my Patreon page. I've seen like an influx of new patrons this past week, this first week of the new year. Which of course makes me very happy. I don't know if it's because I announced the other day that in theory, if I were to get 4,000 $1 Patreons, then I'd take a leave of absence from my full-time job and make YouTube my full-time job instead, or if it's because I've decided to do ad-free early access to all my uploads on Patreon. But either way, I guess it doesn't really matter. I just want to thank you guys for the support, and of course thanks to all those of you commenting and watching here on YouTube. The most recent build I did received a ton of feedback, which was super nice. So if we head over to the most recent build, if I can find it, where are we? It's of course out here. We built this major oil field and refinery. And I'm gonna implement lots of the nice feedback you guys gave me. So something you all seem to agree on is that we have the freight line running right here, which is rather close. So some sort of a freight station here with lots of freight tracks could be really cool, and I fully agree. So we're gonna implement that in a future episode of some sort. But yeah, like I said, today's theme is gonna be just some residential expansions, and I'm thinking in the farmlands here north of the city of Pine Harbor. We've been having sort of a industrial and kind of grungy and dirty theme for the past many episodes. So now I'd like to build something a little more tranquil. And I'd also like to just continue expanding our population. We're sitting at just above 21,000 with the realistic population mod currently, which is a really nice level. It's adding a ton of activity to our region, as you guys can see. This is the northern parts of the city of Pine Harbor. And it seems we've got a bit of a traffic issue here we might be able to fix up. Let's grab Traffic Manager, Present Edition, and let's allow this. Will disable pedestrian crossing here, and then we'll just change some restrictions here to yield. So this is hopefully gonna help a bit. But I think, yeah, at some point I'm gonna have to upgrade this road so that we've got at least 2 lanes going north out of the city. Let's just go ahead and do that actually. gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna remove all the markings here. And then we are also gonna change the junction rules here. I don't really want pedestrians to be in this area at all. I guess this is fine. And we're just gonna make some super simple lines here. You guys know I don't like to spend a ton of time doing this. All right, there you go. I think this did clean it up a little bit. We're just gonna need some lines here, and then everything should be fine. Once again, just some really simple ones. Cool, and it seems we can already see how this has just cleared up the traffic, and I think just overall made the whole area look just a little better. It's a little rough looking around these parts, but or at least there's like a lot of gravel here, so but it looks all right, I think. Yeah. All right, the residential theme. I have a bit of a tight schedule this week. I guess you can kind of notice on the rather few amounts of uploads, but I've been really busy. So I'm in a position where now I have some time this Sunday to record and hopefully make a good episode. But I don't really have a ton of time to really pre-plan what I'll be doing. So I thought, yeah, let's just do some residential expansion, seeing if we can grow the population. And as I said, I'd like to move up in this area here. This kind of border zone between Danton and the western outskirts of the city of Pine Harbor. So I'm thinking we're gonna fill in some of this with some residential developments, probably primarily low density single family developments, but I might put in like a big box store or two as well, because we're really lacking them in this region, which I guess from a quality life point of view, that's all right, because these big box stores, if you think in terms of like Target and Walmart, they often take up massive footprints, and they just kind of turn the whole area into like a desert of parking and concrete, which isn't all that nice. But one of the reasons we have this fictional theme here in Conifera is, of course, that we'd like to be able to do just a bit of everything. So we'll maybe be doing some big box as well. I think initially I'm just gonna clean out some of this forest and start laying down an initial road layout. All right, so we're off to a pretty decent start here. I think I opted for a sort of a medium density apartment complex here, just to kind of mix it up. I think this whole area is just gonna turn out a little too boring if we don't mix it up a bit. And then for the single family areas here, this is an area where we've got these post Second World War ranch houses here. I think the design here could stretch up, until, all the way up till the 70s and 80s actually, with the oldest ones probably being from like the 50s, maybe the 60s. And I think that kind of makes sense for the location here, because if we move just a few blocks in here, we've got some, some pre Second World War architecture here. So these are some older neighborhoods. Then here, obviously, a more modern development. So could imagine that, this was either just green space or that there used to be something else here. And then when we move across the highway here, we've got this post World War II development. And I think what we're gonna do now, with like this foundation being done, we're gonna just expand it across the train bridge here, so that we also cover some of this area over here, and we actually get a sizable population boost from this area. So let's just continue moving over here.
Move my body back and forth. 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 Move my body. Move my body and forth. Move my body back 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 and forth. Move my body back
right, I think we've got the outline now of this area. Turned out to be a rather big one, and I I did struggle quite a bit with these parking lot roads. You guys know I don't use them a ton. I like to make sometimes more custom parking. But I like to use them once in a while, and I have this issue where the border section, they clip into the drive sections, and I can see on the Steam Workshop page that quite a few others have that issue. So I don't know if there's any way I can actually fix this, but for now I've tried to kind of cover up the issue here, and I think it looks all right. Also went with this rather large residential complex here. We've been talking into the lack of housing here in Coniferia quite a few times, and a development like this is of course made to try and remedy it, and it's gonna bring in a ton of people to this area. And I think, speaking of that, I'm just gonna lay out two, I think, districts here, two separate districts separated by the train tracks maybe. Could make this into one big district actually. I think that would be fine. Or yoink, you just grab this and drag it all the way out here. Although that really does make it quite a beefy boy, and I think we could call this area Garland just fine. What I'm gonna wrap up with is doing lots of detailing. This is like the big picture of it all, but of course we're gonna need to detail up these areas, because right now it's really low detail, and I'm gonna focus on putting the majority of the detail in like the focal points of the area. So this apartment complex, the Macy's, of course, this residential development here, and then less so these more cookie cutter single family areas. I'm most likely just gonna add some trees and maybe some decals, stuff like that. Alright, been detailing it up, and people are pouring in, which is of course really nice. And I am very, very quickly running out of time, which is less nice because unfortunately it's been a little tricky with parts of the the episode. So I'm gonna have to really get my scissors and gaffer tape out to try and stitch this together in the editing session so that it's actually a nice episode to watch. I think one thing I'm just gonna add is some bus stops. So I'll just check. We're probably gonna steal some of these pre-made stops we already have, and I'm just gonna check the distance between the nodes here. Alright, so that looks quite alright, I think. Let's go into, let's just deselect this. Let's go edit our bus network. I'd like to add a stop here at least, because this is a really high density area. So I think if I just pause for a second, we're gonna add a stop here, and we're gonna add a stop here, and then we're just gonna change it up a bit by adding an additional node right here. Then check. Alright, both stops are within this segment, flanked by these two closed nodes, and that of course means that we can relatively easily scoop over here and copy paste this design. Might change this default design we've been using for our bus stops throughout Coniferia at some point, but for now I like that it's kind of unique. Don't know exactly how much sense it makes from like a transport perspective. I don't know if it's more confusing than helpful, but I kind of like it. So let's just do like this, and then there's just we're gonna grab these decals as well. I know I could probably add them. I can add that text now through the intersection marking tool. First I'm just gonna add these, and then yeah, we'll just do like this. Very nice. So we'll do this for now because I don't really have time for much else. But the full recap, we named it Garland, and it's quite an expansive neighborhood, and it actually has a population of more than 1,000 residents, which I think is really cool. Could continue adding details, might add a few more planters and trees here because it just looks a little barren. But other than that, I mean, I think we got a ton done in this episode, which is really cool. It also sort of means that the sprawl of the city of Pine Harbor has now connected directly to the independent town of Danton. Well, more or less connected at least, which I think is really interesting. Garland really helps fill out this spot. If you've stuck with me this far, thank you very much, of course. I really appreciate all the support and all the nice feedback. I've been having some trouble trying to answer as many comments as possible lately because I've been too busy, and when I'm really busy, I'd rather prioritize creating some fun content than answering comments. Yeah, I'll do my best managing the time I have. As always, if you want to see more and want early access to the episodes, you can go check out my Patreon, and of course I'd really appreciate a like and a comment on this video, and of course subscribing and enable notifications and all that good stuff if you want to. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up now with some hopefully nice cinematics, and then I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.